the mage character has basically wearing nothing and giant ass jiggly boobies and a skirt that's 2 inches long, and you just see everything the entire game, you know? Like big difference. Like that's shoved down your throat versus just like, yeah, it's there on the side, but it doesn't really affect the game or the gameplay or the integrity of the story. Well, that's true. They pan to Lulu all the time, but either way, I mean, I think there's still a big difference, that, you know, between the two. Oh. OX. OXX. Whee! Burninating! I don't think Lulu is that much of an exception. I really don't. I mean, yeah, they pan over Lulu's boobs quite a bit in that game. You're not wrong. But it's like the only, like, it's like the only fan service is Lulu. And while, like, all they did was create that, and while they do pan to it often, and it's kind of awkward at times, it's not like there's excessive everything else, and it's not like constant on every female character kind of thing, you know? I guess is my point. I don't know, it just feels different. Maybe I'm just being jaded because I like Final Fantasy, but I mean I like Star Ocean too, so it's not like I dislike it. Not to mention I'm not against that kind of fan service. I just wish they would not compromise the integrity of the game design by just throwing out fan service and expecting to sell, you know? Like honestly, if there's a bunch of sexual fan service in a game, I don't really care. Like, you know, boobies and jiggle physics or whatever. It's stupid. I think they're dumb, but especially jiggle physics. But it doesn't really bother me as long as the game is still well made. You know, like make a good game, then you can have. Okay, so reverse everything. I'm pretty sure nice-bodied is definitely not something that would be officially translated ever, unless it was a game that focuses heavily on that kind of fan service. Like if this were actually localized in the era, it would probably just be attractive proprietor or something like that. Attractive, you know, person kind of thing. I've noticed that a lot of what do you call it? Fan translators are super like anti-censorship of any kind, to the point where they will enhance the expletive that's going on rather than dial it back or even be direct, like one-on-one kind of thing. And there's a reason why censorship in a lot of forms exists. God dang it. And it has to do with, you know, cultural significance and stuff. And those are important types of censorships that should be adhered to, or at least considered, you know? Like having sexist things or, you know, a lot of other really messed up kind of things that we're not going to talk about. The point is, a lot of those times they're censored because there's just no room for that kind of nonsense, you know? Shoot, I can't remember if I hit the switch. Oh, okay, I didn't. They tend to be literal instead of, like, yeah, instead of localized, they just translate, right? Exactly. That's also true. Yeah, but this game wasn't localized in the 90s either. Also, there's a standard that they're set to. Like, yeah, maybe they're literal translations, but like there's a level of like PG or PG-13 that they don't cross, and that seems like a higher end of the what the hell of the PG-13 kind of, you know, thing. Oh, I see what's going on here. No, I don't see what's going on here. Because it's kind of sexist, you know? It's like reducing the woman down to just her body, as opposed to just being attractive, which is kind of just like, oh, she's attractive, whatever. But it's like, oh yeah, she's got a rockin' bod, you know? That's, yeah, from where the sun rises. Oh, it's reversed, okay. No, of course, yeah, I'm with you 100%, Neo. All I'm trying to get at is, like, it seems as if the person who did the translation for this game has taken a lot of liberties and not good ones, you know? So from where the sun rises, which is the east, so it should be XX, oh, wait, XX, so off, on, off, on, off, on. Try this again. Off, or off, yeah, off. And then on. Oh yeah, the Tales of Fantasia thing. Yes, exactly. That is an excellent case of way too much freedom taken with localization. Even if in the scene there's the equivalent of that. That's just not like the impact of that kind of scene is much less on a Japanese crowd to an American crowd, you know? Like that is like, whoa! For a US audience. Maybe in Japanese with the wording that they use, it's not such a huge impact, you know what I mean? And they just fail to recognize that. They just don't get it. How you're not trying to literally translate something, you're localizing it, you know? And that's lost a lot of time on fan translations. It's the reason why they're not professionals, because they don't get that. You know, they're not high enough level in the knowledge of localization to understand that concept. They just know what the words mean and throw them on screen. And we want this on. that should have been. That should be on. No, that should be on. I should have gotten it. Hey, Chibi, what's up? Sounds about right. They also originally didn't call it a hard mode hack, and it was clearly a hard mode hack. All right, this should be off. And then on. Maybe the middle one here is counting as one. So on. Like, this is one of them down here. I think that's what it's supposed to be doing. So that should be right then. Well, think about it, Jimmy. The first Star Ocean that we ever saw was Star Ocean 2, right? So there was one before that. And this is it. This is the one. Wait, what? You're just gonna throw a boss at me? That's not nice! That's kind of rude. Surprise boss. What? What the hell even killed her? What even killed her? Why am I only doing 80 now? What the heck? Why is he all of a sudden taking no damage? I was doing like 400 to him or whatever it was. Maybe 300 or I don't remember. I was doing several hundred per swing. Now it's only 80. Whatever. I'll just keep doing this if it means I win. There. Y'all don't need XP, right? Cool. Chicken skewers. I do not like surprise boss like that. That feels like they just didn't feel like putting the event there for the boss and just like, eh, whatever. Ah, you made it through the labyrinth. Excellent. Well then, let us see the king. And we'll talk about those things that we were supposed to talk about before, but we didn't bother putting in an event trigger for them. Passing through to the demon world requires both the location of the entrance to the demon world and the way to open said entrance. Both are kept an absolute secret and are not to be revealed to just anybody. Let me guess, the Eye of Truth? As a rule, we cannot open the entrance to the demon world from our world side. It opens only when monsters from the demon world attempt to invade our world. Many years ago, there was a man who managed to break his way into the demon world when it opened from the other side. When he returned, he was half dead. According to him, the demon world is worthy of its name, and that none from this world could even begin to fathom just how truly horrific a place it is. Now that you know this, you still intend to see this through. Our minds are set. I see. Your Highness, did you just say that we cannot open it from this side? As a rule, I said that does not mean that we cannot do so. In fact, the one who originally connected our world with the demon world were from this world. from this world. The ancients, that is what they are known as by you, the people. You may have likely heard of them before. Morons is the true title. Ah, the morons. More, as in more kingdom? No, less kingdoms, more morons. According to the legend, they named the continent they were born upon after themselves. In other words, they were the first ones to live in the continent of more or less. More or less. More or less, they were the ones that started living there. So they called themselves More from the very beginning. Indeed, legends also has it that the ancestors of the morons were not children, but full-grown adults. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, they appeared from our world. They fell from the sky bearing the name, the will of the gods have bestowed upon them. Okay. Suddenly appeared out of normal. That couldn't be space. Space! Space! Why did they do that? It doesn't seem to me there would be any good reason to do something like that. Unfortunately, it is not our place to know. The treasure was known as the Eye of Truth! What do you know? So there was an event trigger issue where the event was playing that shouldn't have played, which was him talking about the Eye of Truth, even though we hadn't actually talked about the Eye of Truth yet. It's said to be a scarlet-colored jewel approximately the size of a fist. Speaking of the Eye of Truth, isn't it supposed to display images of whatever the owner wants to see? That is the populace's version of the legend. No doubt, person after person has placed all their hope in finding the Eye of Truth, a treasure they have never even seen. The morons gave a small bit of information about the Eye of Truth's location to the royal family of each of the 4 kingdoms. They did this so that no one could find it without knowing all 4 clues to its location. Oh gosh. In other words, if someone needed to use that truth in the case of emergency, you would need the consent of all your 4 royal families? Precisely. Now that I have revealed all of this to you, you shall now be given the confidential task of acquiring the Eye of Truth. Bring it forth. Yes, Your Highness. No, bring it 5th. 5th, I say 5th. Take this. What is it? Take that emblem and go to see the king of each kingdom. That emblem shall serve as proof that you are the ones who know the truth about the Eye of Truth. The truth about the Eye of Truth, about the truth of the truth. Once you have met with the other kings of the other 3 kingdoms, I shall reveal my part of the secret. Take their secret skill with you as well. I hope it proves useful to you on your journey. I wish you all the best of luck. Sacred Beast secret skill learned. Just take this skill. You know how to use it now. Congratulations. Captain, what do you think about what the King of Van said? Gods, huh? Basically, the morons were like the Adam and Eve of this world, don't you think? Probably. Seeing as how strange powers exist on this planet in an everyday fashion, maybe gods and deities exist too. From the Raikans' point of view, they fell from the sky, which is exactly how we showed up too. And we're certainly not gods by any stretch of the imagination, so the morons may have been either. Perhaps not, but you know, this world also has monsters from the demon world. There might be gods too. In all my time of Earth, I've never met any such things. Neither have I. Yeah, let's get the Hyrulean lens of Earth instead. Long ago, people associated things they couldn't understand with supernatural phenomena. If something was beneficial to them, they associated it with the gods. If something caused suffering, they associated it with demons. That's true. Basically, religion comes from concepts of salvation and the like. Right, even on Earth. Here's an example. Really? Really? No, don't do this. Don't do these literal, actual Earth things. I don't... In the European Middle Ages, there was a legend about a beast named Cerberus. Cerberus would suddenly appear from nowhere, let out a deafening roar, and burn an entire area in a blink of an eye. Do you know what this actually was? Don't know. Lightning. Interesting. I know that there are things we still don't understand. Actually, heraldry was it. I was honestly surprised at Millie's powers, but I think that even they can be explained by science. I see, so in other words, you're not so sure about what the king said. Is it funny? Not really. I get the feeling that if we just give up and start believing that supernatural phenomena exist, we will have lost. Yeah, we should never progress very far if that was all we did, and I really am interested in playing Star Ocean First Departure now, because I feel like this is like Omega liberties taken with localization by some like actually like super anti-religious nerd brain, you know? And I'm just feeling agenda so hard right now. Like, I'm just feeling such a heavy agenda going on right now from the translator. Starting to feel like constantly telling myself that this was fate is an easy way out. Cause like a game of this era, you know, I don't buy it. Are you talking about your wife? Yeah. Nobody knew what caused the illness, so they couldn't help her with modern medicine. It's so tragic. Yes, and if we could have been cured by the spell or whatever from this planet, I'll probably continue to regret it for the rest of my life. Anybody would, but didn't we hear that heraldry doesn't affect the virus Rosonia used? For the rest of your life, but nobody could have done anything, Captain. Huh? I'm certain that we'll know for sure if we continue our journey ahead. So let's get some sleep for tonight. Great. Well, there's still plenty. I mean, we haven't even started Ratchet, but you know, we'll see. Thanks, Aria. I mean, Battletoads got huge amounts of votes right out of the gate, so it was pretty much it got fast stacked right away. Star Ocean Blue Sphere, a good game if you played it. I've never played it. Isn't it just a remake of 2? I've heard the remake of 2 is bad. Good morning, did you sleep well? Yeah. Do you remember what we need to do now? I remember. And there's nothing to say. Yeah. It's the sequel to 2. Oh. Game Boy Color? Oh. Ew. Ew. I'm at Horse Wiener Time played. Horse Wiener Time played. Well, it looks like we get to go backtrack across the entire world. All right. I'm so happy for this opportunity to go all the way back across the entire world all over again, and then back here again. Yay. Game Boy Color had some really good games. Lufia 3, Shantae, DQ Monsters. Well, I mean, Game Boy Color did have a decent library, but most people don't lump Lufia 3 in there. And I never even knew there was a Game Boy Shantae. And I thought DQ Monsters started on like PlayStation 2, so basically I've heard of none of those games except for Lufia 3, and I've only heard bad things about it. So I'm not sure how I feel about those ones myself. It's the very first Shantae game? Oh, okay. That's cool. Link's Awakening. There you go. a castle town. House Star Ocean? It's definitely showing its flaws over the last several bits of time. Like, definitely, right out of the gate, the game is visually very stunning, has a lot of audio marvels to it, but it's definitely showing some things about it that are like very confusing and don't know what they were thinking. A lot of it has to do with story, though. Is it because of straight translation? No. If it was straight translation, then I wouldn't be missing anything if it was a cohesive story to begin with. It's more like bits of the story just like aren't sorted correctly. You can sequence break a whole lot, it feels like, potentially. And I think, like it feels as if I could have just done the Four Kingdom thing before I even did the dungeon thing, you know? And there's just like a lot of like name drops that they kind of hid from you, and then all of a sudden, hey, name drop, you know? Like I don't know. Like we heard about the Demon Lord Kingdom or whatever, and we were talking about it with great familiarity, but we never actually like talked about it prior to that. It was just like, oh yeah, the Demon Lords and stuff or whatever. We need to worry about them. And it's like, wait, do we though? Okay, I guess I can't learn the ultimate attack, final strike, a video holy water. Oh, the castle's in the middle of the freaking land. I'm just gonna have to huff it. Ooh. Hidden piece of candy there. Marv. Her shorthand name in battle is Marv.
Where's the earth-shattering kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.